Welcome in, CGL fans. There is no time to rest after the mid-season tournament as we are right back at it in the booth for our regular season matches. It is week 5 of season 17 of the CGL, and tonight is an NA Diamond level match between the mid-season champions, the Marsupial Madness team, and one of my favorite teams, Cuddle, Puddle. I'm HD Philly B. Rocking with me is my main man, Shadow Fang. My guy, how you feeling?
Oh, I'm doing great tonight. I'm looking forward to seeing some Diamond games. Like you said, Marsupial Madness, I casted their finals in the midseason tournament. Really dominant game over Drop the Guns. I'm hoping Cuddle Puddle can give them a little bit better of a game than what I've seen them have so far, quite frankly.
Yeah, Cuddle Puddle currently 3-1 on the season, so a very good score working their way through Marsupial Madness 5-0 because they got themselves that extra win for winning the midseason tournament. So they're in very good standing. They're looking to have a clean sheet throughout this entire regular season. They want a quick 3-0 tonight.
They most certainly do, but Cuddle Puddle been one of our stronger teams the last few seasons, so I don't think they're going to go down without a fight at the very least.
Yeah, we were kind of talking in the green room, like this could be 3-1, 3-2, like it could go the distance. It's definitely, any Sunday, as they say, right? Could be anybody's match, and glad to be rocking with you back in the booth for we used to be the Sunday crew back in season 15, Fred, so it's good to be back on these Sunday nights, casting some great Overwatch action. I mean, our first map of the day is going to be Lijiang Tower. So as the second half of the season, we have a new map pool, but control is always pre-selected for these squads.
Yep, control going to be pre-selected for this whole round, and like you said, we're going to get to see a bigger variety of maps, except for Flashpoint and Push, because we don't have that many of those. But everything else, Hybrid and Escort, we're going to get to see some really good diversity and see some different points getting pushed. We're not just going to see Kings Row and Gibraltar every single game.
I know. I'm a little sad, but I'm also like, yeah, variety. It's the spice of life. We gotta do something different. So I was looking through the map pool. We've got Rialto and Havana. We got some great things on the horizon for you, as well as Coliseo, New Queen Street. I mean, Blizzard World, Midtown. I want to see some Midtown. I know you do too, Shadow. But before we get into all of that, we've got to get into the picks and bans. Marsupial Madness, they're up first.
Marsupial Madness getting that first ban out here. I mean, map 1 bans are always just kind of feeler bans for the most part, unless there's just a particular play style you don't really want to go against, right? And I've seen a lot of Tracer bans come through on map 1. I've seen Kiriko bans on map 1, Diva bans map 1. Yeah, it's really just what is your flavor and what's the thing that you don't necessarily want to deal with coming from the opposition.
And we've seen Marsupial Madness, they've banned the Tracer themselves quite a bit. If not that, maybe the Lucio if they feel like they don't want to play it themselves. So there's a lot of opportunity out here, but it will be the Kiriko, the Fox Extraordinaire. She'll be off the board.
I mean, that's one of the stock picks is what I like
Yeah.
to call it, like I was listing them out a second ago. That's one of them. I'm surprised to see it this early, but it's also not super shocking to see it get out of the way. It does lead me to wonder what sort of backline are Marsupial Madness going to want to play, because Kiriko Lucio has been very, very prevalent so far this season.
It has, and I've seen them play Kiriko in most of their compositions. If not, it's Lucio Baptiste, which, okay, they've played that on Control before. Maybe they're going to go for it again, really try to hamstring Cuddle Puddle by taking out one of these most staple picks. Everybody plays the Kiriko, and on the other side, Cuddle Puddle taking out the Symmetra. She's been pretty good so far, especially on Control.
Yeah, especially on Lijiang Tower of all control maps. I feel like
Yeah.
that's one of her best. That's one of her best control maps. And then, like you mentioned, having the Baptiste and the Lucio, you could run like a Baptiste Lucio Ramatra based composition around that Symmetra. And the Baptiste is just more effective at doing like that group healing, and then you don't have to deal with the Suzu. So if that was kind of like their idea, I do kind of like the Kiriko ban.
100%. And so, and that saves, I guess, it kind of saves Kiriko for other maps later down the line. But for now, we'll take a look at the rosters on the side of MN. We have Bonnie, we've got FaZe X, we've got Akiona, we've got Silver Sun, we've got Smirk. On the opposite side here in Cuddle Puddle, we've got Endoru, we've got Cha Cha Slide, Fragster, Executey, and Veronix. Veronix a rookie MVP. This is a player to watch.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Andoryu been very strong repeatedly in quite a few seasons. Akiona was really good for the side of Marsupial Madness when I watched them
Mm.
play in their midseason finals, and the back line just would barely ever die. So like that's always like one of the big keys here in the diamond tier is can you protect your back line and can you take out the other back line first? That's really like a big exchange point here.
So either you're full diving on somebody, got to be coordinated, or your DPS just have to be that dang good going on off angles, good flanks, etc. So we'll see how these teams decide to collide. Last I checked, Marsupial Madness, they usually start off on the Rhine. Maybe they go this Rhine Baptiste, right? Really shield the backline as they kind of slowly trickle forward.
I mean, yeah, if you're gonna do it on any map, Lijiang Tower would be a good one to run Rhine on. Rhine works on Lijiang Tower, even in situations where it doesn't seem like Rhine should necessarily work. You just have a lot of angles you can hold and places you can just hide behind, let that shield recover, especially on like a control center. I especially like Night Market can be a little tougher on the Rhine. You might want the Ram instead there, but you can definitely force the Rhine. You just got to play like very, very aggressively.
I mean, if you're not playing right aggressively, what are you doing, right? You got that guy. He wants to literally charge in and face the competition. So makes sense to me. But Cuddle Puddle, that is what I'm looking at with the Kiriko off of the board. Where do they go in terms of the backline? What role is gonna fill in their shadow? That's the question.
Yeah, it is tough. You go with like a yeah, we've seen some teams play like the Juno Briggs style. We've
Yeah.
seen teams play the Bap Lucio, but that might be playing into Marsupial Madness's strengths. As we
Mm.
mentioned previously, you've seen them play that composition before, and maybe you don't want to take the mirror, so maybe you opt for something along the lines of a Juno Brig instead. You're still able to kind of speed around your team and just kind of have that high level of sustain.
Mm. Peculiar predicament indeed. A head scratcher for Cuddle Puddle. They just want to have fun. They just want to be together, splashing around, but they have a wrinkle to sort out as we start our first game of the day. This is map number one, Lijiang Tower. Right now, we're seeing a Rhine composition from Marsupial Madness. Makes sense. The Ram, as you mentioned, Shadow, really strong in this diamond tier. That's coming out from Fragster to start.
Yeah, and I say this all the time. I think Ram is like a trick counter to Reinhardt. Yes,
Mm,
Ram wins out in that neutral exchange with the punches, but as soon as Shatter is online, your whole team
yeah.
is basically just done for in that exact moment, and you just lose that team fight.
Well, look at this. We have a Pharah Cha-Cha slide looking to boost around the battlefield. And it will be Phase X to open up the kill feed first, finding their opposite number of wall to lock off the competition. And a blistering start from Marsupial Madness. They are hopping onto the point.
I was telling you this like before we actually got on here about how different it is having to play a brawl comp against a Mei
Yeah.
when you do not have one yourself. You can't play the game the same way. You have to constantly bait the wall out, right? It makes you have to play so passively as a brawl tank, and it just hampers you so incredibly, especially against this Reinhardt.
And with the Ramatra, right, it's like, okay, if I get walled off, I can't really escape it. I have no verticality. And you can see him getting walled off right here. He's trying to block his way back to his team, but he's just being peppered with fire strikes and bullets. A barrage of missiles going his way. It will be phased to find the elimination. This tank can't step forward.
Yeah, it's a really tough spot to be in right now if you're Cuddle Puddle because, like I said, again, the wall just blocks off so much damage, and in the meantime,
Hmm.
Frag is popping the Nemesis form and having to block the entire time. So you've just burnt
Yeah.
through all those resources. Like right here, you should probably be shielding to try and get around this corner first. Then you can do that. Then you got to get the wall out. Then you can pop the Nemesis form.
I mean, Shadow, I gotta know, what is the thought process here with this Farah, right? Like, what is she trying to do? When you have two people who can kind of pluck you out of the sky right now, it will be a snow globe. It's winter time here in Lijiang, and there's Snowball securing another fight win. The point sneakily turned around, but not for long.
The Farah is just Cuddle Puddle doing a little too much, if I'm being
Mm,
completely honest with you. Like
Fair.
this composition, I think, looks a little bit better if you're running just something different, right? It doesn't even have to be, if you want to stay in the spam area, just play Junkrat instead, right? You can do the exact
Mhm.
same thing that Pharah's doing, but you can play more with your team, and you're more likely to be able to be healed, right? You can still accomplish the same thing that Pharah's trying to accomplish, though.
Here is the Matrix. Now these bullets will be amplified and Ramattra frozen in place once again. And there it is. Doesn't matter about the neutral when you're shattered to oblivion. Another full team wipe. Marsupial Madness, they hold again with two ultimates in the bank.
And yeah, like you said, they got the two ultimates. They got Sound Barrier and Deadeye online.
Yeah.
This barrage, I don't think is going to get
What?
very much. They're not even necessarily going to get it off. I don't think we're going to have a touch here.
No, they can't dance onto the point, and they were just stuck on the bridge the entire time. That was a quick one, 100-0 for MM. Who we Shadow? We've got a game on our hands.
Yeah, I mean, just too many resources being burned through for Cuddle Puddle before they could actually engage into any of those fights, right? Like I was saying it like as it was happening. You're having to burn Nemesis form to cross the bridge, so by the time you actually get across the bridge, you don't have it to like actually do anything. And then, the May. The May is a real problem.
Yeah.
It's a real problem that you have to deal with. You either have to commit as a team to blowing the wall up, or you swap to a different comp entirely and you're like, okay, now we're going to play something different. So I like that Cuddle Puddles decided to swap up entirely. I don't know how I feel about the Sombra necessarily, but
Hmm.
the rest of this comp, I could see some potential value getting got here.
Okay. I mean, it's good to see Hazard back, right? When he first got the Stalwart as his like sub role, I was very curious. I'm like, he is definitely an initiator. He's jumping everywhere. You can see him get healed up a little bit by leaping forward. So let's see how they execute this dive, and they'll just be executing themselves as another pile of bodies go awry on the point. Hazard, the only one left, and that won't be for long. A quick team kill to start us off in round two.
Yeah, it's just way too discombobulated right now from Cuddle Puddle. Honestly, I think I would like this comp a lot more if Andori was on like Sojourn. I think that would help
Sure.
significantly more. Getting that disruptor field out onto somebody, it at least gives you a target that looks killable to your team. Because right now, nobody looks killable to this dive right now, to my eye. You'd have to do it like pitch perfectly to catch somebody out.
And I feel too, friend, is like maybe they need a better dive like a diva instead of the Hazard, right? If they really want to commit to jumping on somebody, Venture trying to burrow their way into the back line, but it's Cine once again who finds a headshot from range. He won't be outmatched though by the side of FaZe. They get one for themselves. I ram into the wall, and it is just bodies dropping to the floor once more. The sweepers coming through to clean it up.
Oh man, it is just absolute dominance coming through from Marsupial Madness right now. They're about to come up on all five of their ultimates too. Cuddle just does not have any sort of answer for this. They just can't figure out and engage right now. I mean, I would even think that like even swapping back to the Ramatra might even be better because getting Ramatra slow in with the Venture Burrow is actually a really strong combo. Like there's no combo with this team right now that you can just readily rely on to get a kill.
Yeah, what's the synergy? Even if you do some economic pokes to get your what? Wait, what? The fire strike burning the Moira to a crisp, executing. No, she's so dead, and so is Fragster, splattered against his own rock. It's just free firing, free swinging onto the point. Check marks abound for Marsupial Madness. They've definitely got this one in the bag.
Oh my goodness, this shatter is gonna be like the easiest shatter of all time too. Like there's nothing you can really do to deny it again, just because of like the reality of the fact that you have to come touch this point.
They have to contest, and they have to do it now. The downpour, better get your umbrellas out, and there they go. They commit, but they have to get past the snow globe first. Might as well expand all the ultimates you can. The shatter is utilized, but they're all locked in place from the downpour. The kills, though, not coming through for Marsupial Madness. It's a turnaround for Cuddle Puddle. They are splashing onto the point. It will be a turn in overtime.
I mean, that was just a great downpour, honestly. Like
Yeah.
the downpour ended up turning the entire fight because you were finally able to just have everybody sit still for just a moment, and that was allowing like Cha Cha Slide in particular to just get a lot of damage off on that Venture.
Cha-Cha Slide smoothing and grooving. They are doing well on the Venture. What am I? I don't play DPS often, Shadow, but when I do, Venture is one of my picks, believe it or not. but they have to hold on to the point, win a few more fights back to back, and losing a member early on, make it 2, won't be good for them. Fragster trying to do their best to hold on to every percent that they can, but it's this Reinhardt bullying his way onto the point. He's swinging like a baseball player for the fences. He almost timed the charge to perfection. This guy just absolutely diabolical here on Li Jiang.
No, absolutely. Akiona just getting around this map right now. Basically full HP like the entire round. You know, it's tough to do anything when you're constantly going against somebody that's full HP.
You stated how aggressive you have to be as a Rhine player, and that was just aggression personified from this Reinhardt, the German knight, crushing people in his wake. That was a quick 2-0 set for Marsupial Madness. They're showing everybody why they are on top.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And I mean, like I said, this is how you have to play Reinhardt, right? You can't allow them to make it to you without burning through resources. And, you know, Marsupial Madness did a great job of that. And Puddle, I think they all should have just committed to going one way. Like, at some point or another, they all should have just committed and just went the same way as each other. Because going in those 3-2 splits, especially when you're going against a comp that's, like, all grouped up as 5, you're going to have a very difficult time. You know, that's why that's why they kept not being able to break May walls. They didn't have enough damage to actually break any of the pillars in time to help their Ramatra out.
Fighting into that, man, and be interested to see why they didn't maybe switch to it themselves. Maybe that's just not a hero in their kit that they feel comfortable on. But that May was just doing so work, being able to poke from afar, and if anybody got close, peeling for the backline, allowing the Reinhardt to push forward. This May, a keystone piece of that composition. Marsupial Madness, my goodness, clean with it.
Yeah, and I mean, Puddle just didn't seem to really be able to put together a composition that really functioned as a unit. You know, I didn't even mention it that whole time, but we had Tracer available, and we didn't run Tracer at all when we were running a dive comp. So, like, that just doesn't really make any sense to me, if I'm honest. Like, you got to run Tracer, you got to run a Genji, something, so something just so you have a target you can all go on together. Because, like I said, most of the time, you didn't really have, like, a go sign or anything, like, to create a kill box.
But Shadow, should I play Tracer if I'm playing with a brawl comp with my team? Is Tracer a viable option there?
No. I was speaking more to the hazard comp we were seeing on second floor.
Yeah.
that one.
We had a joke backstage, folks. Shadow was just playing a game, and they were running Tracer on the brawl comp, and we're like, that's you probably shouldn't do that, but we'll see moving forward. We're waiting for the map pick. It will be Puddle to decide. And while we're getting that situated, this question, it's been burning in my mind, Shadow, and I gotta know, who's your favorite Marsupial?
I don't know what a Marsupial is, if I'm completely honest with you. I know that it's an animal, but I've never looked it up myself, so let me take a look at an example of marsupials.
Let's go. I pulled up a list just in case, and while you're doing that, we're pulling up our list of maps, and it will be Sarabasa, our flashpoint. It seems like everybody and their mom loves to go to this flashpoint map. I'm a big fan of it myself. Is there a certain type of composition that you're expecting? I feel like the Ramatra can be pretty good on this map.
Yeah, generally speaking, brawl compositions work incredibly well on Sarabasa. I've grown pretty accustomed to running some Junker Queen myself. I think it works pretty well also, for very much the same reason, but you have to play it to that same level of aggression that, like, we were seeing the Rhine being played on that last map, right? You have to be, like, in there all the time, getting the heals up, doing a whole bunch of things like that. I think Puddle is going to ban Reinhardt. I don't think that's necessarily the right thing to do here, but I think that's what they're about to do.
It would make sense, especially if Brawl is kind of the most prevalent composition here. And these Brawl characters, they're even the personas are like, we want to go and fight. The Malga, the Reinhardt, the Junker Queen, they all want to be up in your grill, beating you up, but it will be the Vendetta. The Gladiator, my sister from Italy. She will not be in this one. An interesting band, but not unheard of.
No, it's not like a crazy ban or anything. I
Yeah.
probably would have went for like a Reaper instead if I was gonna go for like
Ooh.
one of those close range DPS playstyles because
Hmm.
I've seen a lot of people starting to shift towards Zarya Reaper now, away from that Vendetta, just because that overhead slash and the reduction of the lifesteal have just kind of hampered her a little bit, and it's easier to play Reaper more consistently. Marsupial Madness, though, gonna ban out that Ramatra, which airs us more towards potentially a Rhine duel, or maybe we see something like that Junker Queen I was mentioning before.
Hmm. And is this almost like it's just similar to like the Kiriko pick, right? You're hamstringing your opposing team by taking away something that's comfortable for a majority of folks, and we've seen Cuddle Puddle play Maratra time and time again. For me, if I was Cuddle Puddle, I would have banned a tank, even if it's like freaking Wrecking Ball, just so that you know you can't get the tank banned away from you if you know that's what you want to do. They had to have seen this coming, so they must have something up their sleeve.
Yeah, they must have some sort of idea as to what they're thinking of here. And like I said, we do have a substitution. Karma is coming in for Andoryu on this map.
Mm,
I mean, I mentioned it in the middle of that first map that I thought Sojourn would have been a better pick compared to like the
yeah.
heroes we were seeing. And it looks like Karma has Sojourn listed as their hero, so leads me to believe we might be seeing that Soj come out here.
Aye, aye, Captain. I hope we see her coming through. The lead agent of Overwatch does a lot of damage, can poke from a distance, great mobility to boot. Y'all know what she can do. And Cuddle Puddle, they need an X Factor. They need something to get them back in this, turn the tides, get the momentum in their favor. Saravasa, these Flashpoint type of maps can certainly do just that because you are slogging it out for 10 minutes as you're getting all those points.
I mean, if they want to get really crazy, they can just full commit to burning the Ryan shield as fast as possible. It isn't that
Mm.
difficult to do if you really decide that that's what we're going to do right now, guys. So, like, it can happen very, very quickly with just a hit scan and a little bit more damage on the side. It does not take that much.
This is Diamond Tier, after all, and this is where you learn to build your communication. But we're going to head on into the map and see how they get it started. But if they make the call shadow to burn the Ride Shield, all 5 members have to do that. Otherwise, you'll go down for your troubles.
Yeah, you absolutely will. It has to be like a full team. We are deciding that this is what we're going to do. We're not going to go for the squishy targets first. We're going to burn through the shield. Once the shield's broke, then we're just free to run at them as fast as possible. It is looking like, though, Marsupial Madness potentially going to be going with this Doomfist based composition. Cuddle going to be opting for this Hazard. I got to be honest, I like Cuddle comp a little bit better here, like their comp overall, but we will have to see because Marsupial Madness, as we saw them on map number 1, is very strong on the Rhine.
I mean, I love a good dive composition, man. So, oh no, they tricked me. I wanted the Doom so bad, but the Reinhardt has been doing them justice just fine. But there's that Reaper pick. You were talking about Shadow. I mean, I think you and Reaper are cousins, right? You're both all in the Shadow Realm doing some shadowy things. So I think that's why you're talking about it, Cine. They were incredibly good on that May. Let's see what they do with the double barrel shotguns. Not going to pepper too far from range. Cha-cha slide looking to move into the back line, but will be found out here on the flank.
Yeah, Marsupial Madness is really playing group together as 5. And that's the thing. You're going to have to like solo some people out. But Frag does do that, catches out Smirk. And that's what you have to do. You have to catch one of these squishy characters out early if you're not going to burn the Rhine shield.
It's a double. Make it trouble as Cha-Cha Slide finds themselves two as well. And it will be the first cap for the side of Cuddle Puddle. Now they find themselves in an ocean of blood. They cap first.
Yeah, great job there from Cuddle Puddle. And this map, it's a lot different from Lijiang in that it's a lot easier for Hazard to get on your backline incredibly quickly here. But Cine on that Reaper just instantly getting the kill. I mean, that's a 2-piece for the Reaper.
Oh, could he make it? Could they make it 3? Oh, I'll count it for them. Let's see if they can find another one. Yes, the Hellfire shotguns reaping the souls, and it's an easy turnaround for the Marsupials.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Cuddle Puddle, that just can't happen. You just can't get 2 tapped before the fight even
Mm.
happens. Like that's just as soon as you lose your Kiriko, that fight's over with. Like that's a rough spot to get stuck in. No ultimates to speak of coming up just yet. But I mean, there's another early kill onto a support, and now that's just going to allow Marsupial to just run.
Wait, what? How is that possible? Must have been a nice shot there from FaZe and Lucio Cheerios to clean them up, but it is Cine. They are doing the damage. Oh my word! This person is just dominating the battlefield.
You know, Reaper is one of the most satisfying, like easy heroes to play on this game. That's the best way I can describe it. Because you can be very blatantly disrespectful on this character, and that's how you're supposed to play the character. Like that's why I like it so much. It's so simple, but you just have to have really good map knowledge and just good cooldown usage to play Reaper well, and it's very fun at the same time.
Hey, it's lore accurate. He's kind of a punk, right, in terms of Overwatch, but it's the excavation elimination time. The tectonic shock is separating the battlefield that allows Fragster to do the work. The Burrow to stay alive for just enough, and a team kill will come through. But one final touch here for the Marsupials. They have the tools to do it.
Yeah, the tough thing is that sound barrier difference right now. Silver already on sound barrier, and you can see Ver right there only gonna have 54%. That's how you have to play this, though. Great play from Cuddle going aggressive with these ults.
Oh, and I love that they have to just keep them away, make sure nobody can touch it. If they do, they're taking their health pool as attacks for it. Smirk onto the point first, gets a knock to the noggin. What the heck? You don't see that every day. There it is, the Death Blossom, reaping some souls and marking some graves. But it will be Silver who is the one to pop the flowers. Fragster, the last one remaining. It's just a desperate dream for the kid, and the overtime Wick will burn for the flip and burn for the first point cap.
It really was that sound barrier, right? The sound barrier
Yeah.
difference right there was massive because just being able to have that much extra health and just being, you don't really have to respect the other team that much while sound barrier's online. You can just run at them with no regard for your life. It makes a big difference, right? But Puddle gonna have their Kitsune Rush online for this fight. Could potentially get something going here, but they're gonna have to deal with the Ant Matrix and the Grav.
I'll say I would love them to start it off, but no, they get vacuumed in. 4 members zooped up and zooped down. Oh no, what an ultimate usage there from the main tank. It's Fragster once again by his lonesome, played in the puddle by himself, and a turnaround easy for the Marsupials. They'll cap first.
I mean, yeah, this is just tough, right? Ideally you would have your sound barrier online for something like that, but it's just been so rough right now for this backline of Puddle on this map. They just have not been able to stay alive hardly at all. Downpour does come out though, and they cap it on Akiona, but they lose their Lucio in the process.
Staying alive is the name of the game, but the main tank can't do it. That's a great downpour. We've seen it before from Fragster, but this defense matrix doing just that, allowing them to stand tall on the point. But now Fragster has made his way into the backline, sectioning off the rest of the team. It will be those spiky points who will take down the Baptiste, and now the turnaround comes through.
Yeah, great point flip there from Puddle. They hold on to their ultimates, which is ideal. Sound barriers are going to be matched from both sides, so now you have a better chance of just, honestly, you should probably at this point just hold it and match the other one coming through from Marsupial Madness.
Let's see if they take your advice here, friend. The sound barrier will get this party started. The DJ amping it up, and it's a quick lamp to keep the back line alive. But Fragster, once again, getting the frags, gets himself one. Karma tipping the scales of the universe, gets a kill for themselves, and they will hold on. A great defense for the side of the red team.
Yeah, I mean, they did exactly what I was saying right there. They held the sound barrier. They realized they had to match it. The only downside is now you've got to deal with the overclock and the death blossom available from Marsupial Madness. You've got a tectonic shock of your own, but we've seen how good Cine is at just not really being noticed super early, and there it is right there. It already happened.
And they're matching though with ultimates. The tectonic shock making waves through the battlefield. A 2K here for the venture. They are going into the unknown, executing their opposite number. And overtime Wick is now burning. It might be a point cap for the side of Puddle. They are splashing once more and making waves.
Yeah, great job there from Puddle to cap that point, really get it going in their favor. Like I said, Cinny had a solid Death Blossom there. They only get the one. It was the fact that Cha Cha Slide was able to get two with the Tectonic
Mhm.
Shock. That was what really turned it in their favor. They do hold on to that overclock, though, does Marsupial Madness, so they're going to have it available for this fight. Hopefully, Execute can manage to get up to this Kitsune rush to just have something to try and combat it.
Well, the Fox Spirit will be able to do it, and they unleash it immediately so they can barrel onto the point. The Shadow Form utilized, and now the Downpour to lock him in place. Does anybody get out alive? No! Locked down and taken down. That's a clean sweep once more for Cuddle Puddle. They're looking good with it here on Sarabasa.
Is a little expensive there for Cuddle Puddle. You hate you had to use the downpour, but like you really did in that moment. It looked like the side of Marsupial Madness was going to get away without that downpour. But now you're stuck in a situation where Grav and that overclock are online. And, you know, we saw how good Akiona was with the last Grav.
Oh, well, they're finding Fraxter first. He's jumping in the backline, but maybe a mistake. It's a one launch from downtown into ultimate fire to take down two. What a shot, what a kill, what a play from the tank main. This one person to find out will be Fraxter to go down next. The flip will come through.
You know, I would say the one positive that you can take out of that for Cuddle Puddle is that FaZe popped that overclock as well. You know, you had already killed three people as soon as that grab landed. As soon as that grab landed, three people died from the side of Cuddle Puddle. So you've got that going for you at the very least that you got an overclock out. But Cinny already back to another Death Blossom, and you don't really have a good response for that. So you just have to make sure that you guys are keeping an eye on this Reaper going into this next fight.
Shadow ever the optimist, and so are Cuddle Puddle as they lead in with another Tectonic Shock, but diving into the backline, Cinny, they are on a tear. Section off the supports and eliminate them emphatically. This will be another hold for the side of Marsupial Madness, a team kill. Think there might be one more touch for them, but it's going to be close.
Yeah, I think it looks like the side of Cuddle Puddle, or I'm sorry, the side of Marsupial Madness might play this aggressively and pop this Kitsune Rush early, potentially. No, looks like they're going to back up, maybe take this as an entire team fight. Sound Barrier Engage is going to come through from Cuddle Puddle, and that's going to be matched out by that Kitsune Rush.
Rush, let the Kitsune guide you to a victory on this little sub point here, but Fraxter once again trying to split the battlefield using the Jagged Wall to great effect. It's a stalwart, or is he an initiator? Only time will tell. The Downpour now to lock a few members in place. The Stalagmites tripping up, and in overtime they find the kills they're looking for. They will turn it around.
They do indeed get it to go their way. Like I said, though, it was the same as last time. It's a little expensive. You don't necessarily want to burn that downpour and the overclock, but you did end up having to, right? Plus side, though, Marsupial Madness, only 80% on that grab. They're not really close to anything else. So if you're Cuddle Puddle here, you really would like to build up this Kitsune Rush as fast as you can.
It seems like the Downpour has been their win condition, and maybe Karma is the win condition here as they get a double kill, but they need a little bit more as now the Zarya has moved on to the point, pop both bubbles, but will be popping shots to the dome as it will be a kill secure. The overtime wick burns once more, and bullied off the point are the Marsupials. They need to hop, burrow, do something to touch. They will not be able to. It is now Cuddle Puddle in the lead.
Cuddle Puddle taking the 2-1 lead right there. And I would say the biggest difference we saw in the last 2 points is just the backline for Cuddle Puddle is doing a much better job of just not getting picked off super early. And, you know, when that happens, it's like, oh, hey, we have the sound barrier to match the sound barrier. We got the Kitsune to match the Kitsune, so on and so forth. And with support ults being the most important ults in the game, it's really crucial that you have those done right.
Another Kitsune from Executi, but it will be countered from the grab. It's vacuums up all four and sliced into sushi from Cinny on the Genji. And that's a quick team fight kill and victory to cap this point.
I mean, that's just unfortunate, you know. You don't have the sound barrier. You're 80 to the sound barrier, so like you don't have it. So there's not really a response. I mean, I was saying that a minute ago about a Death Blossom. Like if you don't have a response, you don't really have a response for it. But the good thing is that was a quick fight.
The Tectonic plates are going to be shuffled once more as Cha-Cha Slide is moving them around. Doesn't find too much value for it, but is able to make it to the high ground, and it will be a dome shot. I make it double for FaZe. He is slicing through the competition, and it will be a team kill to hold on to the point.
I actually really like this Genji swap from Cine. A
Yeah.
lot of these low health targets are like decently far away, so being able to like dash into them and get those final blows has been really crucial in these last couple of fights, and just getting Marsupial Madness back to where they want to be.
Yeah, and then you get the kill, you get the reset, you dash on out of there like you weren't even home. And that's a Genji that's hard to track. Karma trying to replicate, but will not. A kunai through the eye will take him down, send him to the gray screen. And Kitsune Rush now expended for the side of Marsupial Madness. Fragster trying to deadlift the team, going into the backline, but he gets driven away. Cine with a double kill once more. The rest of the team left in the dust. Fragster the last to remain, and in overtime, they will hold, and it will be knotted up 2-2.
Oh, here we are going to point number 5. And now you're stuck in a bad situation where that grab is online from Akiono once again.
Uh-oh.
Blade online too. I don't think you're necessarily going to need to combo those two. From what we've seen so far from Akiono, the grab alone will probably be enough here.
And the Kitsune Rush, it's usually they've been waiting for that combination. If they get Kitsune Rushed on, they use the grab to stop the pace, right? Halt them in their tracks. But now they have the ultimate economy advantage. So do they utilize it early? Try to make sure they keep the point. But if Cha-Cha goes down early like this, they won't even need to. Another downpour, no umbrellas in sight. It will be the Zarya, though, to dance around the point, but ran out of bubbles. Sorry, need to go back to the shop to collect some more. A nice way to drive them from the point. Karma, the one leading the pack.
I mean, once again, it's the downpour, right? Fragster's downpours have been like incredibly crucial for
Huge.
Cuddle Puddle to like win. I would say a large majority of the fights they have won on this point have been because of downpour. So it's been a really key ultimate. And now you're in that situation like you were talking about earlier. You've got the Kitsune Rush here to potentially do something.
I thought I heard the Kitsune guiding somebody, but it will be the Dragon Blade instead. They were all taught by the same woman, so it all makes sense, but the Shimada brother must get something done. They have to secure some eliminations. Cine, they find one, but the rest of the team has fallen behind them, and it will be a hold. Nothing used, Shadow, here on the defense.
No, nothing used at all. You managed to hold on to that Kitsune. You're getting close on that tectonic shock. The blade did come out from Cine, didn't catch anything. I would say the big thing here, though, is that you've got the sound barrier advantage if you're Marsupial Madness, and we know how crucial that's been in some fights as well.
The ultimate that you have to play around. Do they run on the point followed by the speed? Do they find a grab? They launch it willy-nilly right onto the Lucio ball. The poor DJ goes down, but now the Kitsune Rush is free to be utilized. The excavation initiation gets a triple kill, and in overtime, the team dismantled, and Cuddle Puddle will win on Sarabasa. We are tied up 1-1.
Oh man, Cha-Cha Slide really coming through there at the end. You know, we were talking about how crucial Fragster was for a large majority of that series, or for a large majority of that map on the hazard, but Cha-Cha Slide was doing incredibly well. I rarely see people get elims with Tectonic Shock, and just it was consistently getting like 1 to 2 kills over and over again with that ultimate, and I was very, very impressed by it. And I mean, you know, I see the comment down here in our live one chat. This is only the second map that's been taken from the Marsupials the entire season. So Cuddle Puddle, you're really giving the Marsupials everything they want right now.
And you think that would have such momentum after that mid-season tournament. They just feel like they're on top of the world. They could beat anybody, but the Cuddle Puddle's slipping them up here just a little bit. I love the way they work that composition. It took me like 100 games and many flames in chat to get that Tectonic Shock achievement, okay? So I know what it's like to get value from that ultimate. It feels good if you get more than one kill. Cha-Cha Slide moving and grooving out there.
I got to point out too, I said it on map 1, if you just swap out this Sombra for a Sojourn, I think this comp looks a lot better. And, you know, you swap that one little thing around, and getting Kiriko back, of course, is also pretty important. But, you know, getting those 2 little swaps, all of a sudden this hazard comp looks a lot more like a composition than it did on map number 1.
That is just the, you know, those little micro moves that Overwatch is known for that it makes it so impactful. Well, folks, we need to take a break. The teams need to take a break. We are going to send it to a break. We'll see you in just a few. Welcome back, CGL fans. We are in week 5 of season 17, and this is the NA Diamond Division. The Sunday Night Crew rocking with you. HD Philly B, Shadowfang, and Headrammer behind the scenes, running the 1s and 2s. This has been a banger of a series so far, Shadow. I hope it goes the distance.
Yeah, I mean, Marsupial really gave it to Cuddle Puddle on that map 1, but map 2, Cervasa, looking a lot more competitive and what I would expect from Cuddle Puddle. Because, like I said, they've been a relatively strong team in the last few CGL seasons. So, yeah, I think this is more along the lines of what we can expect for the rest of the series.
Feel like I'm getting some telekinesis, some brainwaves connecting me to what the next map pick might be. And if the background's any indication, it's probably Blizzard World. And it will be just that, the hybrid map selected from the Marsupial Madness squad. Do you think, Shadow, that's going to lead to some, maybe substitutes or compositional changes for both of these squads?
Well, I kind of wonder, what is Marsupial Madness going to ban here? My instant thought is that they ban Hazard, because we saw how successful Fragster was on the Hazard, and this is a dive-heavy map, so you could still force that Hazard pick. So that's my initial thought here. But then I'm also like, why would Marsupial Madness go here? I've mostly seen them play brawl-style compositions, so they must have something up their sleeves I'm not thinking of.
Well, they have a large roster. I think there's like 9 people on their roster, so they have some depth to utilize some other people they can slot in. But whoa, Shadow, I know you always are good on the predictions. The Hazard is the one locked out of this match. It is Cuddle Puddle's turn to ban. They might take some time to think about this. Do they try to lock out a support? Do they go for a damage character? I don't know. What do you think?
This is tough. This is really tough. Like you could, we've seen the side of Marsupial play that Baptiste a good bit. You could force the Bat ban. You could ban out something like a Tracer if you don't want to see that. You were doing well on the Sojourn yourself, so I don't know if you want to get rid of that necessarily. Maybe you ban Cass out. We've seen that come out a good bit as well. I don't know. This is a tough spot to me if you're Cuddle Puddle, but it does look like they're going to go with Cass.
Hey, the cowboy will take a back seat, ride the pine for this one. I mean, makes sense to me. If you're going to go for some more dive-heavy things, go for somebody that can, protect your backline against the dive, right? The flashbang, etc. Makes a lot of sense to me. Well, good bans here. The Hazard and the Cassidy. Now it's time for the rosters. Let's see if there's any substitutions that have been slotted in. It will be the Pizza Box making their way to the battlefield here on the tank roll.
Yeah, Pizza Bot going to be coming in for Fragster here. After that Hazard got banned out, looks like Pizza Bot is the more comfortable Diva player. So, hey, it makes sense. Again, we're on a really strong dive map in Blizzard World. So, hey, let's get our Diva player in.
I mean, Diva, very strong character. We see it at the highest levels. That's why she's been hit with the nerf hammer time and time again. This time, the booster cooldown was adjusted to make sure she's not as shifty around the battlefield. But Pizza Bot looking to nom up his enemies as they move forward into this one. We are tied up 1-1. Let's head into the cap, Shadow, and see what we got.
I am going to be very fascinated to see what Marsupial Madness exactly plays here, because like I said before, I've only really seen them play like brawl style comps. So are they going to opt for the Diva mirror themselves? Are they more of a Winston style team? I would imagine they're going to err more towards that Diva just because of where Diva is at the moment. You can still certainly make Winston work, but I just think Diva's a lot easier to make work, and that's usually what ends up making metas happen, right? It's what's the thing that's easier and we can do more consistently?
Ease of execution. That's what you have to go for, because it's consistency that matters, right? Because if you can play consistently, you can usually do better than the other team and try to battle them out in terms of that level. I'm curious though, if you were on defense to start, let's say you're the Marsupial Madness team, you're on defense to start, you played the Zarya in that Flashpoint set. Do you play Zarya here on defense or go for that Diva mirror? I think I'm leaning towards the Zarya.
You could go for the Zarya, especially on first point defense. You could even go for like a full style poke comp with the Sigma and just like go full poke. You have enough space that you could potentially do something with the amount of poke damage that you're going to be able to have. That's an option for you as well. We see that Cine likes to play that Bastion based on their favorite hero pick. You could go for a Mr. President style strat if that is something that you really want to do. I don't know if you've looked at a lot of people's profiles, but there's an obscene amount of people that are playing nothing but Zenyatta in comp right now, so that has been a thing as well.
I mean, Zenyatta is literally my favorite character. He's the image on my phone background. That's how much I love that guy. So I want to see Zenyatta. That would be fantastic. But to your point, we've actually seen some role swaps on this team. If Cine is out, Bonnie can come in. And they are also a flex player. They can play tank, and Sigma is kind of their tried and true, or they can go to DPS. Unfortunately, Bonnie wasn't subbed in, so Cine will have to stay, and it will be the Reinhardt once more to start off the attack.
I do like this comp, though. You're speeding around. I think they're actually going to stay on the Symmetra as well, which I do like. It's going to give you... I think you're still going to have a hard time like pinning down a target. You almost just need to have like point presence if you're going to play this composition.
And I mean, the Symmetra works against the Diva too. Just beam right through the defense matrix, get the bunny out of the mech. They're going for this rotation through the side room left, and I love this. This might catch the opposition off guard, but okay, they spot him out from the high ground. Let's see how this one plays out. Oh, a teleport to the high ground. Immediately the Bastion in turret form. He's laying the bullets into him, and into the blender goes the Diva. The turrets take him down.
And yeah, that is what a sim TP can do to you if you're just not prepared for it. It can
Oh,
just happen just like that as Akiona gets the nice pin on the cha-cha slide. And I mean, again, Puddle just doesn't seem to really know how to deal with this Rhine comp. And especially now, you have to deal with the fact that that teleporter is going to be on your head. You have to somehow bait out the turret form and the teleporter. It's a lot of cooldowns that you have to bait out before you can really go aggressively against this composition.
hero shooters are all about ability usage, right? Understanding timers. How do I provide enough poke or a flank or distraction to get out a lamp or get a speed boost away or teleport or Suzu, whatever, and then find my opportunity to go. But almost the opportunity is the gray screen is the Reinhardt, but somehow stays alive but leaves his members in his dust. That's where the dive comes in for Pizza Bot, and he puts a good delivery out for their deaths.
And Akiona doing a great job there of just getting away, staying alive. And there's the pin onto the Diva and a great D-Mech once again from Akiona. Just really, just really making him look silly right now. And the Shatter comes out and that's 5 on the ground for
Oh,
Akiona.
that's so fatty! Oh my gosh, as soon as you get the Diva out of the mech, he goes for it. And a sliver of health to boot. I didn't think he was going to survive long enough to get the Shatter down, but he did. The cart will keep on rolling.
That's the level of faith I have in my teammates, and I usually die every time I do that. So, that's just, if you want to know what the other side of that coin looks like, it's a 5-man. You just got to look at them.
Well, you are on the gray screen. One desperate defense here. The tectonic shock. It saved him before from Cha-Cha Slide, but the defense of the Reinhardt shield will stop it in its tracks. The Lucios battle it out on the side, and Silver will come suns up. Still FaZe pelting the bullets from the backline to nerf this. The bomb, it goes awry, keeps the point a moving, and point 2 will be capped.
I mean, once again, it's just this ult rotation coming through from Marsupial Madness, right? They've used both of their support ultimates. Cuddle still has not built up to either one of theirs, and now PizzaBot going to be matching this Reinhardt. But again, you're trying to match Reinhardt. You don't have a Symmetra or like a Mei. You've got a Pharah on your side, and I think it's just going to make it incredibly tough for PizzaBot to just play this normally because there's so many things you have to worry about as Ryan.
I think I see the tech here. Oh no, Pizza Bot dismantled. But the Pharah, I just feel like you can get the Bastion against it. The even Smirk in the backline as the Baptiste can get you out, or a Flame Strike walk to the heavens, clips the bird's wings, and sends the Egyptian to the spawn room doors. This cart hasn't stopped for even an instant.
Oh my goodness, Shatter's about to be online again.
Uh-oh.
Looks like Karma's potentially going to be going for a flank here with that overclock. So let's see if they can get something going.
But they're trying to end it now, but their life might be ended. This Bastion on a tear. The overclock, though, cuts through him. The plasma rifle doing the work, but Akiona is bullying their way onto the point. There will be no one left to defend. All 3 points scooped up here for the attackers.
It was one of those meanwhile back at the plot kind of moments when we were watching the flank Sojourn and Lucio there.
It was a good try, right? They had to do something. We have one overclock in a dream. Maybe if we could catch them on a flank and get everybody to turn, we could do it. But the Bastion held strong, held the space, allowed the tank to move forward, get the objective over the line. It is a hero shooter after all. It's about the objective, not necessarily the kills.
I mean, I just want to point out too what I said on map 1, right? Remember how I said if you want to get rid of the Reinhardt, you can just commit to getting rid of that shield. And we saw how very quickly that can happen. You can force a counter pin, right? Akiona did force a counter pin out of PizzaBot, not allowing them to get away as well. Like there's a lot of different tech you can do that can go in your favor. And it looks like Marsupial Madness on their defense going to be opting for the Emere and the Mei now. So, again, it's just a situation where if you're Puddle, yes, I was going to say you can't play the Rhine into a Mei without a Mei yourself. It just isn't a good time for the tank player.
And maybe this is some psychology where it's like, oh, maybe we've tricked Puddle enough to feel like they have to play the Rhine, that they might come out at least for one push. We can wall them off, pin them, just win a quick team fight, just get at least a minute or so off the clock if we can. But Puddle going back to their roots, full on dive composition for them. Let's see what they can do.
It's going to be a situation you're going to want to try and take that high ground immediately. Just stay away from the Reinhardt. That is going to be your key here.
But the Emre, this is a new wrinkle into the plan of double frag grenades quickly into the choke, and now the Diva's walled off from the supports. No healing coming through, but the Foxtrot has to be expended to get to the point as best they can. That's good for the Kiriko, able to stay alive in this one, but Emre is just pelting FaZe, executing people left and right.
They are indeed. And see, it's just a situation where, like I said, if you're going to play this composition, the whole team has to go high ground. You can't have half of you sitting there fighting a Reinhardt and the other half is going to the height. That cannot be how you do this. You got to just full ignore the Reinhardt. Right? Because if you try and fight this Reinhardt head on, you're going to lose with the comp that you have. You just don't have the sheer damage output to immediately take him down. You need to take down his support system first.
This is kind of where, this is the diamond tier. So they're still working on team cohesion, communication, strategy, formulation, right? A lot of different things. A dive on to the Mei, trying to freeze the ecologist in her tracks. The Burrow almost bursts her down with the ice cube to save her life just for now. And Cine, they rebuttal or perfectionly? Oh, perfection doesn't even matter. The kill feed now splattered in blue and red. This Reinhardt, though, at full health, bullying everybody. He's charging forward without a care in the world. He's swinging his hammer like a mighty man, and he is just taking this Diva to town.
But see, though, see how much better it was working when you just kind of disregarded Akiona, right? You disregarded Akiona. You were able to get an early kill there. And that's just kind of what you have to do. You have to just constantly rotate. Don't allow this Reinhardt to get comfortable and get on top of anybody. Just go up a wall, right? So there's a nice wall right there, right? You know how long it takes Reinhardt to get up there? It takes him a very, very long time to get up there. It just does.
I mean, I would love Cine to give him a little elevator ride. Okay, I think they may have done it, or maybe he took the stairs. Either way, a few ultimates on the board, but oh my gosh, all a treasure trove, all the check marks online for the defense. They can just use their ult economy to win these fights outright. It'll start with the snow globe to lock down the Diva. Oh, the mech just dismantled. A bomb laid upon the battlefield. Everyone behind the Reinhardt shield. The Kitsune rush. No, the Earth Shatter connects on to nobody. The Sound Barrier has a last desperation play onto the high ground. Does Cuddle Puddle go? They need to find some eliminations. They need to find it now, but Cha-Cha Slide looking like the electric slide going back to the gray screen. A few more members to pick off. The Reinhardt pushes Karma away, and all the ultimates utilize the point, not flipped.
It's another tough moment where we're just seeing a lot of one-on-one fights happening from Cuddle Puddle, right? You're in a situation where a pin by a Reinhardt is enough to stop what's happening, and that can't really be the case, right? Like your fight has to be better planned enough to the point where one single pin into the backline by Akiona isn't enough to just totally derail what you're doing.
Fortunately for Cuddle Puddle, they have two more ultimates, and they start the battle off with the overclock. They just have to rain some few more shots from the heavens, and there they go. The dive takes down Smirk, the bulk of the healing off the board, but there's that pin you were talking about, Shadow, to hit the Diva into the corner. But now the turnaround Cha-Cha Slide. This is the uptick they need. Overriding protocol from the heavens, though. Will that be the turnaround point, or will the bird be clipped? The Diva rises up to meet him and takes down the Emre. The virus not taking hold, and at the waning moments of the match, the point will be capped. Cuddle will make it through to the street space.
I said it several times when we were going over that first point. You have to just ignore Reinhardt. It's a really hard thing to do because he's gigantic rectangle man, but you gotta just ignore him and go after everybody else, right? Because he can't do anything to you unless you're right in front of him. If you're not right in front of him, he can't hurt you. He can try, he can hit you with a fire strike, all right, he can do that. But like outside of that, he can't really do anything to you, so you just gotta play out of his range at like all times.
I feel like that's what my mom told me when I was scared of the boogeyman under my bed. And the boogeyman now is named Reinhardt here for Cuddle Puddle, but they may have found a strategy to keep him at bay. FaZe, though, looking down sights, finding the noggin of Karma, and he is in a perfect position to lay in some bullets. Another bomb, that's the third one of the game, finding no effect here for Pizza Box. They can't even use it as a remake as the Ice Cube claims another victim.
Yeah, I mentioned it before about like when the teams split up like that and going in one at a time makes it real easy for a brawl comp to just all look at you at once, right? It's a lot more difficult to look at you all at the same time if there's 5 of you running, right? So you You got to like make sure that you're doing stuff like that. Earth Shatter does come through, catches onto both supports, and yeah, that's
Oh,
it. That'll do it. That'll do it for that fight, Philly.
oh no, Shadow. The backline obliterated off the Shadow. And the Kitsune Rush, just nobody's moving. Nobody's grooving there. Just a final little Diva pilot who go back to the gray screen. And a good Earth Shatter. What else do we expect here from the Marsupials?
Oh man, they've got a blizzard online, right? Looks like Cindy's trying to do a little bit of trolling, hiding in this room to try and catch somebody flanking. They got their Ant Matrix and their Sound Barrier online as well. A lot of ultimates available for both sides, quite frankly.
And not a lot of time here for Cuddle Puddle to move this cart to point two. This is going to be a pretty spooky situation. The May found out here Cinny, but maybe that's all just a bait to put the snow globe down, and they do. But fortunately, the Suzu keeps them from the slow, but the ice wall will block the escape. They're put into the refrigerator and sent to the distribution center. Moved off the point once again. This brawl composition just driving people away from the point, and desperate overclock here for the side of Karma, but the response is the sound barrier. A nice high ground positioning, and they need to find some frags, but it will be Phase the one to open up the kill feed in this engagement. Another tectonic shock blocked away from all the shielding in the world. The adventurer cannot find any kills here.
They do not. Both Lucios get traded. Karma gets 2 kills, though, for the side of Cuddle Puddle. Getting something going for him, but the Marsupials, again, just not allowing any card progress.
The overtime wick burning. One more bomb here for Pizza Bots, but the delivery will not be made. A shatter just to say hello to ya. The Lucio goes down quick, and it will be round 3, map 3, going to the Marsupial Madness squad.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta be honest with you, Philly. I didn't think they would run this comp on this map just because of all the high grounds I was talking about before. But
Yeah.
Cuddle Puddle didn't really make use of the high grounds, honestly. They were kind of just playing into Akiona like this entire time. Like right here, for instance. I don't think all 5 of you necessarily need to be right here to get caught by this, but that is what happened.
Ooh, and we thank our observer for capturing that moment, because a 5-person shadow, you don't see that every day, especially I definitely don't. So a great little image there, and Headrammer, of course, hitting the 1s and 2s. And speaking of 1s and 2s, Shadow, we find ourselves at 2-1 here on week 5. Just one more map win will do it for the Marsupials to keep their win streak alive.
And it's been 2 dominant maps from Marsupial and a really close map from Cuddle Puddle. That's really been the tale of the 2 stories so far, right? In the maps Marsupial has played their game, they have absolutely dominated. Now, if you're Cuddle Puddle, I'm not too sure what your response necessarily is now, right? You've got Escort available. We saw how the dive went. It didn't go particularly well. But if you're feeling, if you're feeling up to it, maybe you could go with something like a Rialto, force that kind of map. I feel like that would be a harder map to play Ryan on. You could force a Dorado, something like that. Or we could go to one of our push maps. And if we go to one of our push maps, I think that's where you can just outright ban the Ryan, just get rid of it for that map.
I was thinking push, because it seems like Cuddle Puddle, when it's more of these set plays, right, where you need an offense and a defense, they seem to struggle a little bit. But when you kind of can be free flowing with it, like a flashpoint, a push, maybe a control, they do a little bit better. So I would go for a push if I was them, to see if they could swing the momentum in their favor and go from there. And you're right, I think the ban phase would do them some good, right? Get that Ryan off the board, force something else for them to play. But Shadow, you still haven't answered a question. I know you're a businessman, so I'll circle back with you. What is your favorite marsupial? The crowd needs to know the answer.
I decided to go with the koalas. I really like koalas.
Koalas, they're kind of assholes, basically. They're very rude. Yeah, he's like, yeah, no, me too. You should see me in my day job. I'm a big fan of wombats. They've got butts of iron, actually. That's what they do. They hide in a hole, they put their butt out so the predators can't actually bite them, because their fur is so dense. So wombats, very silly. But the marsupials, not silly. They're mad, and they want to win this game with 3 map wins in their pocket. I think we could go to the map screen now here, Shadow, and see which one these teams have selected.
Gonna be curious to see what way they might have went. Personally, we do not know just yet. but
Shoot.
it'll be here shortly. I am gonna be like you and predict push. Because every time I try and play 5D chess, I'm wrong. Because to me, the 5D chess play here is to force a map where you can't play the Rhine, and then you run into push on the last map, right?
Mm.
So like I would say that's the play because you could end up in a situation where you're stuck on Havana, and Havana is actually a pretty decent Reinhardt map.
Yeah, I think if you can get through that first like uphill push, then I think it's okay because there are a lot of those high ground spots where you can have some snipers and other people pestering you, whittling down your shield. But it is my favorite escort map in the game, Junkertown. We're going to the Outback. Oh, it's the Marsupials. Makes sense.
Yep, yep. This is where Cuddle Puddle is trying to take them to execute them in a sense, right? Take them to their home field. uh, this leads me this leads me to believe we might be going into like Sigma mirrors potentially. I don't know. I don't know. Are teams still playing Sigma like that on Junkertown? Because I tend to kind of default to Sigma on this map a lot of the times.
I think I do the same when I'm trying to get out of the spawn room door because I think it's just so close. You're just like going through a barrage of bullets and mayhem. That the Sigma just feels pretty confident going out there. But before we get into all that strategies, the X's and O's, we have to go through the bans. Cuddle Puddle will be up first. They've got 40 seconds on the clock. Will they go for the Rhine? That's the question.
This is a map where you can get rid of it just because of the fact that Symmetra is going to be on the board. Like, you can get rid of the Rhine here. It could be the play, or you could be playing, like I said, that poke style composition. And I think as long as you're able to just poke out this Reinhardt, it won't be able to be played, especially on a map like Junkertown.
Yeah, I mean, you really are just assaulted from all sides. If you are the Reinhardt walking through the streets, the Cuddle Puddle team taking all the time in the world to figure out what they're gonna select. The timer as reaches zero. They get extra time. Okay, another 60 seconds. Okay. They go for the May, and that makes a lot of sense. They just this May and Rhine composition has just been working so well in tandem.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason that anytime you would see Ryan get played in like pro settings, it was always with a May. It's just because of how well the two pair together. They're both trying to do the same thing. They're both trying to get people in close quarters and fight them. So, like, it makes perfect sense. Marsupials with their ban, though, I'm curious if they're going to ban Lucio, actually, which I find very fascinating because I don't necessarily know if we were going to be playing Lucio on this map anyways.
Yeah, it could just be. I don't want to ever say a throwaway ban because I feel like all these teams have a strategy. We just may not be privy to it. But it could be because they've been outclassed in terms of the economic get up in terms of the ultimates, right? The Lucio player for Marsupials has always seemed to have the sound barrier a step or two ahead of the one for Cuddle Puddle. And so if they want to switch to it, they don't want to be behind. We will have another substitution though here. Fragster back in the fray.
Yeah, Fragster swapping back in for this map. We've seen Fragster play a lot of that hazard, so we could see more of the hazard on this map, but I'm of the mindset that I really do think potentially going for that full poke style might help you in dealing with Akiona's Rhine, right? If you're having difficulty destroying that shield, it becomes significantly easier when all five of your characters just shoot at the thing that is in front of them. And that's like their default.
And as you said, he's a big rectangle man, so there's a lot to shoot at, whether he has a shield up or not. And especially with how we talked about how close that spawn is, that maybe having a Bastion, an Ash, a Sojourn on those high grounds, just shooting down in this Reinhardt, he doesn't know which way to look, and then maybe you find an opportunity there. So, okay, a lot of things to think about. But in terms of the backline, there's no Lucio here. What do we go with? The Kiriko and something else? Do we even try a Brig and Ana? Like, what are you thinking?
And like I said, if you're going with the poke comp, I really like the Bap Zen or the Bap
Ooh,
Iari, whichever one you're stronger at. I think is going to be the play if you're playing the poke, right? But you have to be playing the poke specifically in order for that to be a viable choice for you to make right now. If you're not playing that, well, then it becomes a little bit more complicated. Where, like you said, you could run a Kiriko Wu Yang. I've seen that played a good bit actually. That could be an option for you. You could go the Juno Brig. That is still also an option. I think Orbital Ray is still a really solid ultimate. She can still output a lot of healing.
I think I haven't seen the Wu Yang in a long time. Of course, when a new character comes out, they're really strong. People are figuring out how they mesh, this, that, and the other. But after he's been hit with the nerfs a couple of times over and over, he's kind of fallen off a little bit. I think he's still fun to play. I like to just dash around, throw water orbs at people. But I think the Zen backline, it's always greedy. That's always the term that people utilize when you go with that backline composition, but I like it here. There's just so much extra damage you can put out, and if Cha-Cha does go for this far, once again, you have two people that can just kind of take her out of the sky too, so that just provides some extra flexibility for Marsupial's Cuddle Puddle, though. I mean, what are they? I don't think they're going to go for that backline. How do they even break through this defense if they're on attack first?
I mean, it's a tough ask, honestly, because the only thing we've seen Cuddle Puddle have success on is that hazard-based composition, and I feel like it's going to be really hard for them to cross space, depending on what Marsupial Madness is necessarily playing, because there's a lot of just open area on this map. There's more cover than there used to be, but there's still a lot of open space where you can just get fired upon constantly.
Okay. Well, we'll have to see. The teams, I think, are still getting set up. Of course, when a substitution gets made, sometimes it takes some people to reconnect, get into the lobby, make sure they're all comfy in their chairs. So I hope you are comfy in your chairs, folks, because this has been a wonderful night of Sunday Overwatch action. Couldn't be more elated to be in the booth this evening. All right, I think finally the God in the sky is telling me we're ready to go down into the Junkertown. Sato, let's do it.
Here we are, Junkertown. Been a while since I've seen this map on a cast. I seen it in my game the other day. I had a good time playing Iari on this map, so I hope to see it again tonight.
Yeah, Yadi is one of my favorite characters, but once again, also been hit with the nerfs time and time again. So our favorite Peruvian might be taking a back seat in this one. Cine posturing on the Reaper as they're rolling out on their defense. Fragster having the Scottish man as the main tank. Okay, let's see what they can get done on attack.
And here we go. Marsupial's going to be going with that Juno just so they continue to have the speed. I like that Cuddle Puddle is going for the Pharmacy here. I think that makes the Pharah a lot more viable. You're able to get the healing on them more consistently. And, it looks like the side of Marsupial Madness is going to be getting a little close hold here on this ride comp.
That's like the Scooby-Doo gang. They're like, as they're sneaking into position and hopefully get a quick elimination. Will they get snuffed out here? They're like, where is everybody? Fragster knows, he sees them, and they are spotted out. No eliminations come their way, but the Pharmacy looking to do the damage, but the bird clipped out of the skies. The homing missiles find the mark.
Yeah, that's tough right there to lose your Pharah out so early. You at least do get a good bit of cart progress, but again, Cine can't be getting these kills from this far away on Reaper. Like that just cannot be happening.
Yeah, I feel like if you're Cha-Cha, that's the character you have to be. Who cares about the Reinhardt shield? Find the Reaper, but they will only be found in the grave. It is FaZe on the Cowboy Cassidy with a double kill.
Yeah, I mean, again, FaZe just being absolutely dominant on this hit scan for the entirety of this series. Doesn't matter what they're on. Already 80% on this Deadeye as well. Wu Yang swap already coming out from Cuddle Puddle. They said, nah, we ain't playing this Mercy nonsense no more.
Shao, I think you got a crystal ball over there in Minnesota because you're predicting these things way too good. The Wu Yang now on the battlefield, but won't last for long as Fragster jumps into the back line. He puts up the spiky guard, but it's the Deadeye who creates some space, doesn't find any skulls in the kill feed, but it'll do enough to push him away for now.
Yeah, great job there from FaZe of just holding that high ground so hard. But again, it's the thing that I kept saying on Blizzard World, right? If you just go jump on this high ground, guess what? Reinhardt can't get there. Forces the entire team to drop down. Now you're in a much better position to try and kill all these people.
Baxter, maybe he's hearing you in their headset. They find the high ground, but Akina finds a hidey hole. The Reinhardt sneaking their way to the back, but while they're doing that, the space unleashed and two go down. But Cinny says, I'll take two with me if I have to go somewhere. The Reaper of Souls looking to execute a few more. They're getting the lifesteal online, but now the Reinhardt charging into the front lines takes down the Venture. That will be a good hold for them, but that's exactly what you're looking for, Shadow. They just need to execute a few more kills.
Yeah, like honestly, like what happened in that fight was they made the initial play and then they didn't have an idea after they actually made the play. They were like, "Oh wait, we did the thing. We don't know what to do now." As the title blast comes out, FaZe immediately going down. And look, Akiona has already pinned. Now guess what? I can go to a different location that Akiona isn't in, and he has to just wait until he has pin again.
But who's on the card, Shadow? Nobody's moving it, and now the Kitsune rush, a desperate ultimate laid down. Cinny trying to help out, letting the Beyblade whirl, but will not find too much. Cinny will be the final remaining member of the DPS, just going to and fro, but it will be almost like the pirate ships of the Pirates of the Caribbean. Dun, 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 into the point. They'll get to number 2.
Yeah, and that was much better from Cuddle Puddle, right? They went in, they got their first elimination, and they didn't just fight Akiona once Akiona pinned to them. They just continued to run away from the Reinhardt. That's how you got to play against this composition, right? You see Akiona pin in, you have to realize, oh, that's about 6 or 7 seconds before Akiona can do that again. Let me go to a place that it takes him longer than 6 or 7 seconds to get to.
I mean, look at how look at all the movement they have on Cuddle Puddle. Every one of those characters has a movement ability. Force this Rhino to commit and then just sidestep him, do something. But it will be the orbital ray now called from the satellites of Mars to help heal and damage the team. They don't get any elimination, some space regained, but you like a little bit more off of such a crucial ultimate.
I mean, if you're Cuddle Puddle, you're pretty happy about that, just simply due to the fact that now you can engage. And look, again, the kills coming through for Cuddle Puddle. They're just playing this much smarter than they were on previous maps. And look at Fragster getting the kill on the Akiona as well, because that's another thing. If you solo out the Reinhardt, guess what? It's a lot easier to kill Reinhardt when Reinhardt is not being supported at all.
Chop the legs out from under him if you can. That seems to be the strategy here, and Fragster on their map pick have the cart a-rolling. The downpour, which we've seen be their saving grace time and time again. Well, they might have to utilize it to cap point 2. They will not. With 3 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock, they're moving to the 3rd.
Yeah, and I want to point out, too, Akiona has been forced to swap off of that Reinhardt because Cuddle Puddle just stopped playing the play style that would allow Reinhardt to be played. I say this because I'm a Reinhardt main, and every time I play the game, people don't just let me do that. So it really irritates me when I watch other people just let them do that.
I can see you steaming in your seat. There's still a long way to go. This is often one of the more difficult points to push. The overclock now. It's the night shift here at CGL. The duplicate here to add some extra beef. And the downpour. Will it claim a victim? 2 locked down, but 2 cannot be eliminated. Cindy is able to find one. The title blast might knock a few members over. Akiona, the last remaining one to tell the tale. And this has been a bloodbath here as we move through point 3.
Yeah, you are going to have to kill this baby diva just to get this cart moving. And these stagger kills right now are a brutal. It doesn't look like you're actually going to get that kill onto Silver. So, you know, that's probably your one shining light right now. You didn't get your Mercy staggered out as well there.
Well, it doesn't even matter, as the flank from Karma will send the Angel to the hospital. That's where Dr. Ziegler wants to be anyway, not here on the battlefield. Karma now firm control of the high ground. 2 minutes remaining. The overclock I thought was to be expended, but it's the tectonic shock instead. To the high ground goes the Venture into the unknown and sending FaZe into the ether. Still some work to do here for Cha-Cha Slide, trying to take out the Echo in the air, but a bomb, oh, no value from it. Kitsune Rush layered onto the point to keep the cooldowns a hum, and Fragster finally eliminated. The dive now free for the Diva, pressuring people off the point, going to the backline to just try to level the playing field, but they cannot find the kills. It's FaZe on the Ash turnaround to get a couple.
Oh, yeah, and a great swap coming out from FaZe there. Ash incredibly strong on this map, so I really like that swap here. And, I mean, if you're Cuddle Puddle, you probably should have just held that Kitsune Rush and waited for a team reset, right? Fragster had been dead for like a few seconds before you decided to
Yeah.
pop that ultimate, and I think you would have liked that better in like a full team fight. But coming in this next ult, Cine going to have their copy. They had a really good downpour the last time they copied, and I
Hmm.
mean Karma gonna have this overclock. They've been really strong on this Sojourn overall so far.
The Sojourn's gonna have to do a lot, but they can't go down. The hazard now duplicate. There's too many renegades here in Junkertown, but oh my goodness, bursted right out of it, but a parting martyrdom. The sticky bombs will take down the Wuyong. Karma, they've been extremely effective in a point blank range. The plasma rifle with a headshot sends the Mercy to the gray screen, but still the cart is stagnant with less than 30 seconds remaining here, Shadow.
Yeah, it is, and we're seeing a duel right now.
Whoa!
FaZe winning out in that duel, but in the meantime, Akiona has lost this mech. Downpour coming in once again from Fragster. Doesn't look like it catches on to anybody, but it does get. But they do manage to get a couple of kills here, and the fight is continuing to go on cart.
And it will be ending shortly as only as little Kiriko remains with 5 seconds left. Cuddle Puddle able to capitalize. They claim all 3 points here on Junkertown.
And I mean, I gotta say, kudos Cuddle Puddle. They started
Mhm.
using the map to their advantage, right? They were struggling really hard to do that on Blizzard World, but here on Junkertown, they start using the fact that Reinhardt does not have that vertical mobility. Reinhardt can't be in two places at once. So, what are we gonna do? We're just gonna go where Reinhardt is not and continue to get these eliminations, and that's what we continued to see time and time again. It took them a couple of fights on first, but it seemed like they really started to figure it out after those first couple fights.
I mean, can any tanks be two places at once? I mean, maybe they'll make a character who can do that. But no, I love the analysis there, Shadow, which is then forcing uh, the opposition, Akiona, to make an awkward swap. Because if you've been playing Reinhardt the entire day, when you have to switch to something else, you're like, wait, what is it? Wait, what am I doing again? You have to coordinate with
Yeah.
your team on what your objective is. This time on the attack, rolling out with the Sigma, we've kind of highlighted how impactful this poke character can be.
Yeah, especially on this map, is just Sigma has a high floor. That's the best way I can put it. Sigma has a
Okay.
high floor. Maybe not as high of a ceiling as like other characters, but Sigma's floor is so high that it doesn't even necessarily matter because you can just get a very high baseline value, especially on Junkertown.
Lots of things to aggress against. And of course, in the final moments, the players always give us something to think about. A change to the Golden Horse will be what is due. Orisa immediately stampeding onto the high ground. A javelin launched into the ether. I like the Orisa into the into Fragster here on the hazard. You can golden form away from the downpour. You can javelin him if he tries to violent leap you. So there's a lot of pressure that she can mitigate, and of course get some kills to boot.
Yeah, yeah, she's basically like full calorie Reinhardt, right? Like Reinhardt's like diet Orisa.
Yeah.
Reinhardt's like diet Orisa because you can't do poke damage, but Orisa's like a full calorie Coca-Cola instead.
Well, I only prefer diet, so chat, let us know what Coke beverage you prefer. Akiona is standing tall on this payload, acting more like a turret than a tank, just pelting everybody with some plasma bullets. Slowly but surely inching their way, but their supports are being left behind. This Mercy struggling to find a foothold. Now a turnaround, and it's of course on the back of FaZe with a Herculean effort to take down Cha-Cha Slide. Karma says, well, maybe I could do just that. They tried to look for one, a fully charged plasma rifle, but Fragster is into the backline once more. This guy cannot be denied. Finds one kill, but he's left the payload. The most important thing, the Deadeye will claim one. A crucial elimination is found. The Cowboy, though, has to be put to end, but it will not happen. Cine, they are immaculate on the Cassidy. They find a triple kill to cap point one.
And the thing that's going to make this a lot tougher than dealing with Reinhardt is that Orisa can just kind of be alone and be a problem, right?
Yeah,
Just be
yeah.
there on the point and be a problem over on the other side of the map as well, because those bullets have a very long range on them. So like,
Mhm.
it it's a lot more difficult to deal with than Reinhardt is. Cuddle Puddle going back to this Pharah is Cha-Cha Slide. Maybe it'll work for him this time. They've really struggled to get that value out of it just because Marsupial Madness is so good at that hit scan.
Mm. I don't know about you, friend, but my screen has gone dark. Oh, okay, and we're back. Thank you, Headrammer. That's why we trust you with all the stuff prod side. Fragster has the downpour that's been their saving grace for multiple games this series. The Golden Form now utilized. This could be the opportunity they are looking for to stabilize. Free firing in the background is the Cowboy, but Cha-Cha Slide onto their tried and true Pharah has found an opening pick, and now the dominoes will go tumbling after a hold here for Cuddle Puddle on defense.
Yeah, this is a tough spot to be in because like FaZe in particular has been incredibly good on this hit scan, and now you've got a pocket Ash that you're dealing with. And you saw it just a moment ago. Cha-Cha Slide just died to dynamite damage. Like that's how bad it can be, right? Tidal Blast is coming out onto Fragster though. They catch onto one, immediately taking down Cinny.
Oh man, the combat roll not able to save him, but it is ending now. Karma looking to tip the scales once again. Takes down their opposite number. FaZe, no can defend, and a good slew of ultimates here to hold the point once more.
I mean, great job of just creating a kill box right there by Cuddle, right? They funneled everybody into a small room, and then what do you got? You got Pharah rockets, you got Hazard going in and slashing multiple people, you got water balls, you got kunai, plenty of things that can do a lot of damage in that situation. But Marsupial Madness got everything but their Valkyrie online for this fight. I really am looking for Cha-Cha Slide to try and get some high value with this rocket barrage. I know it's going to be difficult though.
You better be screaming for Bob, because I know I am the sixth man. You love to see the robot butler in action. The Kitsune Rush, though, will be layered across a helix on the battlefield from both of these Kiriko supports, but blown to smithereens is Fragster, looking like a frag grenade, and off the back of two ultimates, they'll roll on through to second.
Yeah, getting through here with plenty of time to spare. It's looking like, what's that going to add? Another minute and a half. We're looking at, 3:45 on the clock for Marsupial Madness. And yeah, FaZe just getting another one. This is the problem we were seeing on map number 2, right? Those supports going down very early. And there's another one. You got to stop peeking. You got to stop solo peeking this Ash. This Ash has shown you they are a problem.
What? My God, done did it to him. Here is FaZe. This Pocket Ash, looking like Pocket Aces, almost finds themselves a quadra kill.
And I mean, it's like I'm saying, you got to stop solo peeking. Like we keep seeing one person just peek their head out and die, right? You can't have that happen. Your tank's got to be your engaged person here. You need to know exactly where FaZe is located, right? See, you weren't checking for FaZe, and what happens? You just get lit up immediately as you walk out.
The downpour in desperation for Fragster. Fortunately for them, the Bob kind of just strewn out across the battlefield. He's looking for somebody to shoot all the way back there, but can't find anybody. But what Marsupials are finding is tons of space. The golden box of victory laid out in front of them. A desperate touch there from the side of Karma. Almost stays alive, but the Terra Surge knocks him up, and the Deadeye knocks him down. This Cassidy with a long-range grenade will seal the deal. 3 minutes and 19 seconds for the Marsupials.
Oof, 3 minutes 19 to 1 minute. I will say though, Junkertown is a map that you can just steamroll this through an entire second cap with only a minute. So don't be too shocked if it does go that way for Cuddle Puddle. You still have an opportunity here for sure. I would say though, the main thing if you're Cuddle Puddle, you need to make sure that you at least get through first point. If you can get through first point is incredibly holdable on this map defensively.
Yeah, 100%, my friend. But they only got 1 minute to do it, and accruing an ultimate in 1 minute is a tall task. But if they can do it, they might be able to crack open the defense. But it will be the Marsupial Madness team to attack first, so that's a saving grace, because if they have a great defensive hold, then they know at least where the golden box of victory will be and where they need to get to. But with the blistering pace of the Marsupials, I mean, they are hopping, they are jumping, they are burrowing their way to what could be their 6th victory of the season.
It is certainly looking that way, Phil. It really is. It's going to take another just heroic performance from Cuddle Puddle. And I mean, I got to say, I really hope we don't see the Pharah come out again, because you're going into like 2 hit scan players that are incredibly strong in Cinny and FaZe. And I think you're just going to have more success on something else. And it looks like they are going to be going for that venture this time.
Okay, I was holding my breath there for a second, Shadow, but still, this Ash is a mega problem. And there it is. That's like, what the heck? You can't peek your head out for even an instance without it getting blown off. And on the other side, well, while you're looking at one deadlock member, you're looking at another. That's Cinny on the off angle, who's also shooting you with their revolver. It's a great shot there. Cha-Cha Slide has to do something to get to this high ground and dislodge these hit scans from their perch.
Yeah, they are eventually going to have to do that. The cart touch obviously going to come through right here under this bridge, but someone has to engage at some point from the side of Cuddle Puddle, because if you don't, you're just going to be stuck here getting shot by FaZe over and over again.
Well, it won't be Varnix because they're in the gray screen after this, and neither will Fragster because he will follow suit. This Ash combination, I mean, FaZe is the MVP for me of this match. I mean, they're just prowess on the battlefield cannot be contended with. But City says, I've got something to say, Philly. I'll end this round with a quick double.
Yeah, it's a weird thing where, to me, it felt like that round Cuddle Puddle was so concerned about the cart that they forgot about the fight. They were so concerned about the objective, they forgot that they actually have to kill the people on the high ground before they'll let them move the objective.
Mm. Happens. Like, I mean, it is a hero shooter sometimes, like, well, especially in overtime when that's like you feel like it's your sole objective. We've got 1 minute, we've got to get as much distance as we possibly can, but there are some sub objectives, and that's create space, find eliminations, right, position yourself. Well, only a short distance the cart has moved. Now it's time for the Marsupial Madness squad. They've only got a short distance to go.
Well, and I keep bringing it up over and over again, but if you were gonna play that composition the way that Cuddle Puddle played it, you probably should just played Sigma, because Sigma will just kind of do that. Sigma will just kind of float on the cart, be there, and get high levels of value. Hazard doesn't really do that. Have you shot Hazard's gun from further than 5 feet away from somebody? It does like negative. I think people get health when you shoot them with Hazard's gun from far away. It does such little damage.
That is very true. You do need to be up close and personal when you are on the Renegade. You're right. Those little stalagmites of chaotic energy or petroleum or whatever it is that's powering him, definitely not doing too much from far away, but they're trying a little sneak tactic of their own. They're going to have to do a couple of those and string them together if they want to win this one. 3 minutes on the board for the Marsupials to close this out.
Yeah, it looks like Cuddle Puddle trying to get a little creative here. They do catch 1 kill on Decini, though. Hey, it looks like they got a little something here with this Bastion style composition.
Okay, little picture movement here from Cuddle Puddle, slipping up the opposition. Well, they got to do that at least like 3 or 4 more times, I think, here, Shadow, if they want to take us all the way.
Yeah, they will have to do that, and that right there. Oh wow, I can't believe Akioto missed those spheres. Oh, that's tragic. That would have been the entire map right there. That was so close.
Ever so shifty from Fragster, but still a load to trough through. Oh, but City says, okay, let me show you the venture. Finds themselves a 2K. Make it 3 for them. Give me the Quadra. Come on, City. The folks need to see it at home. Frag is the last one to go, and we'll take a rock to the face to send him to the spawn room doors, and a ride of victory, whole team in hand. They'll take this one 3-1. Marsupials, the G to the G.
It was a pretty competitive game overall for Cuddle Puddle. I kind of wish they had figured out what they figured out on Junkertown on Blizzard World, because Blizzard World as a map works very similarly to Junkertown in that you can kind of just avoid those low grounds, and I think it would have made that map a lot more interesting if they had been able to do that.
Sure. And I feel like it was like when you're doing a whack-a-mole. As soon as they hit one problem down, another one popped up. As soon as they figured out the tank, well, the Ash Mercy pocket combination was blowing their brains out all across the Junkertown desert. Tough look for Cuddle Puddle, but they put up a very good fight, especially on Saravasa. That one was anybody's game. So a lot to be proud of here, but they have some things to think about in this VOD review. Maybe scrim against some teams who really favor this Rhine composition and see how they sort it out in the future.
Yeah, it can be very difficult to have to play against Rhine, especially if you're not going to mirror it, right? Because it's just so unorthodox, and it's funny to say that it's unorthodox when it was like most of what people played back in the early days, but people don't tend to do that as much anymore, so it can be a little more unorthodox than what's normally played.
Tank pools expanded just a little bit, Shadow, since we started back in 2016. So it makes sense that the German Knight might take a back seat from time to time. Okay, Marsupial Madness 6-0 now on the season. Their map record now blemished though, so Cuddle Puddle, they can hang their hat on that, put that on the fridge, tell their parents about it later. Like, Mom and Dad, CGL, we got one off the best team. Good job there, kid. But there's a lot more action, of course, here for the CGL. I'm just lining up to see if we have an interview, Fang. Be curious to ask this Marsupial squad a couple of questions. It looks like we will have an interview. So to get that set up for you folks, we got to send us to a break. We'll see you in just a few.
Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo.
Welcome back, CGL fans, to our Sunday night presentation of NA Diamond Tier. We just had a wonderful match between Marsupial Madness and Cuddle Puddle. It will be MM who takes the victory. They're now 6-0 on the season. And Shadow, we have a great interview with FaZe, the main DPS for Marsupial Madness, and Mist, the head coach of the team, is rocking with them. FaZe, we've got a couple of questions. My first, and Mist, feel free to answer this as well, is how are you feeling? You are undefeated so far this season.
Wait, do you want to go?
Yeah, I'll start. Well, the team is very excited. I'll get that started. Especially Mr. QZ Kago. He's kind of handing out water in the WC and being like, "Good job, guys. Good job." We're very excited. We're very happy. Because we do a lot of prep for this thing, and it's great to see that the fruit of our labor, essentially. So.
For sure. Mist?
I am very happy and I'm very proud of the team. I am a new person. I worked a little bit with FaZe, and like the amount of improvement I saw from him from like even a few days ago compared to like this game was insane. It was amazing. FaZe is my goat.
I could just
You can't tell, but I'm blushing. Right now.
I could just tell from the way you both entered the voice chat, just the bond and the partnership you have created. So immaculate to see the work that you have done here together. Shadow, I know you've got a couple questions for these folks as well.
All right, well, my first question is going to be, where do you think it all went sideways for you on Saravasa? Because it really seemed like y'all were going to pull that out, and then it just didn't quite go your way.
That's a very good question. I think the map that we lost was on Saravasa. It is not our best map, to be honest. There were just like some key fights where like we should have won, but we lost, and there was fights where we needed to win, but we lost. It was very unfortunate. Their Has frags is really good. Like every time they had root, we just lost. Special shout out to that guy. That guy's really good. I really fuck with him. But outside of that, we could definitely just play better. Sir is not that great map. It'll definitely be something we look at some point. Be like, hey, what do we do right? What do we do wrong? But it's okay because we'll come back even stronger.
Yeah. That's our second sir. We've dropped 2 maps so far in the league, and both of them is Surabasa, and it's just mind-boggling to me. Like, how are we losing this map? And we practice it a lot too, and we go over the VODs and everything. But I think our collapse was that last point when we just could not find a solution to, contest the point properly, and it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then my final question is going to be: Do you think, is there any team left on your schedule that you think will pose like much of a challenge for you, or do you think you guys are just going to roll through the rest of the regular season?
I have full confidence.
I have full
think we'll win.
confidence too. I'm
Like,
with
I
Miss
don't mean-
here.
I do not mean to sound rude. I don't think we drop another map. To be honest, I also do not know who we got. I'm pretty sure we might have dropped the guns. I could be wrong, but I don't think we drop a map. Honestly.
We do have to fight VP pronouns, and honestly, I'm a little bit scared because I'm hit scan, and apparently Bandit is also hit scan. And guess what? Our captain or our coach or our main guy, Happy Ramen, is just glazing the hell out of Bandit at every chance he gets. And
yeah, but I blaze you like 10
shivering.
times harder. It's fine.
Oh, wait, let's get a true going on.
I also I think we'll 3-0 them, that team as well. They'll be a lot closer.
All right, then. Seems like y'all are pretty confident going into the rest of the season there. Well, Philly, you got anything else for him?
Yeah, I want to. This is going to be directed at Mist first. For as a overall team, what is one takeaway from this series that you want to highlight for your team, or something that you might bring back to some of those bottom review sessions?
I wasn't really in voice, so I can't really say that. From my knowledge, the comms were really good. The vibes were really good. Like, even when we lost Sarah, I'm like 90% sure that the comms and the vibes are really good. I think vibes play a key role into like actually winning games. And like, you can kind of see it in Blizz. We lost Sarah, sucks. It was a very close map, and then we just dominated Blizzard World. So just like keep a clear head even when you're losing, because like if you're giving up halfway through before you guys even lose, then you guys are already losing. Just have full confidence in whatever you do. Even if you guys are like down 2-0 and the games have been pretty easy for the enemy team, just like believe that you'll win.
Wise words there from the coach. That's a great golden nugget for everybody. Keep your mental and keep moving forward. FaZe, what's one takeaway from you?
Well, I think that we had full confidence and full trust in each other. I think a good example of this is Junkertown Reinhardt. Now, I know we've never had him, so you don't really know him, but Mr. Akiona, that whole like shtick where we went into that small room and played there, that was all his idea. Now, if that happened in ranked, I'm just ult F4ing and leaving the game. but I had full faith in him, and because we all had full faith in each other and we all trusted each other to perform our best, we that play worked out, and I will never ever question Mr. Reinhardt ever again.
Fair enough. Trust, another important component of building a team. Well, we've concluded kind of our interview portion, but I'll give you all one more opportunity. FaZe, we'll start with you first. Who would you like to shout out while you're on the stream?
Mr. Cine. So he's obviously a sub because Bonnie couldn't make it today. So Cine, God, I mean, if you don't know him, you don't know him, but we've essentially kept him in Reaper, May, and Genji prison. That guy only wants to play Bastion. he got to play Bastion for like 30 seconds, and he was like, and then we were like, you got to swap off, dude. He was heartbroken, but you know what? He pulled through. He was there when it mattered, and I'm really appreciative of him.
Fair enough. Always good to shout out your DPS partner, Mist. You're the coach of the team. Who would you like to shout out?
Not on my team. I'd like to shout out Frags. I think his hazard is really good. That was something that we weren't expecting going into it. And then shout out to like everyone on the team, like so Smirks, FaZe, Akiona, everyone there are super welcoming to me because I'm new, and they're very willing to learn. Like I said with FaZe, he's really good. Smirks got really good on the BAP as well. Akiona is just really good at Ryan, etc., etc. I can glaze them all for like another 10 minutes. Like these guys are really good. These guys are gonna dominate diamonds here, and I have no doubt in my mind.
All right, well, those are wonderful words from the coach. Well, we'll let you two go enjoy your victory. Be back with your team. Maybe go play some more Overwatch matches while you're at it. So thank you so much for joining us for this interview. We'll see y'all next time.
All right, thank you. Thank you for having us.
Have a good night.
All right.
Good night.
With that out of the way, Shadow. We've concluded week 5 here at CGL season 17. Any final parting words before we close this thing out?
You know, as I always like to say, you know, keep those notifications turned on. Keep an eye out for when the next streams might be coming in. Yeah, we tend to try and get a game every day from Wednesday through Sunday. You know, if they happen to be scheduled, if we have the production crew for it, that's when we tend to just try and shoot for having some games. You know, shout out Headrammer on the production. Shout out Soav for being our observer as well tonight. Great job from them.
Fantastic work from our production crew. We're doing NA, EU, even LATAM, I think, gets some action now and again. So we are all over the map here at CGL, and we hope to see you next week for week 6. For now, we'll see you then.